Well, hello, everybody. Well, I start saying hello, but you might not be here yet, and that's okay. We're going to give everybody just a couple minutes to get here and join us for tonight for our live. It is Monday, March 7th, and you will notice there is a new March host code. So that's good. I got that figured out this month, so that was good. Let's see. So a Monday, a pretty good Monday actually for me. I was out at one of my favorite schools, and I got to help the librarian shelve some books, put some spine labels on, did some other little jobs around there. Then I had a little more time before covering my first classroom. So I went down to the art teacher and I said, hey, I got about 30 minutes. You got a project? And he got very excited and he said, yes, could you take down all the artwork around the water fountain? Like there were fall foliage trees still up. So, okay, yeah, sure, I can take those down for you. I got all but four pieces of artwork. Probably needed a ladder, and I just didn't, I ran out of minutes, so I couldn't take those down for you. So let me see, we have some friends visiting. Oh, hello, Barbara Lash. So anyway, I thought tonight we'd start with, and I wish, see my hands aren't super pretty right now, but my toes are gorgeous. I had a pedicure this afternoon. Oh, felt so good. Anyway, I wish you could see my toes. They're very pretty. I'm wearing my favorite OPI color called Aphrodite's Pink Nighty. It's glorious. And I just found out that they stopped making it. So when the bottle that I have runs out, I'm going to have to find a new color. Anyway, so pretty toes, great day for a Monday. Awesome. So I wanted to share with you a couple of different ways that you can make a landscape or create a scene. Like not create a scene by being loud outside necessarily, but create a landscape, a pretty picture to look at. So let's take a look at my inspiration for wanting to do this. This came to me through a swap from one of my team members. Thank you, Marlene. She used several stamp sets. She used, I believe the sun is from, and the greeting are from the something pine, palms. I'll check. Paradise palms, that's right. And then she used ocean front, and she also snuck in a little bit of the New Horizons, so she really picked and chose some really nice stamp sets, and she had a little texture with the tasteful textures. So I jumped on that bandwagon and said, oh, I could do that because that's really pretty. So the one we're going to do today, and I haven't glued this all together, so I was trying to get it straight to show you guys, is this one. So I don't have that sunshine, and I was okay with not having a sunshine. But I did add, just for you, Barbara, the wink of Stella in the water. Can you see it? I don't know if the light is picking it up. And on the rocks. So you know how you pick up some rocks sometimes and they have like those little flecks of mica or quartz or something in them. And they're sparkly. So I figured the rocks could have some wink of Stella too. So that's just for you, Barbara. Anyway. So let's play around with how I did this, and then we'll put it together. The texture, the embossing folder I used, okay, I thought I set it right here. Oh, I set it underneath everything. No wonder I can't find it. It's buried. It is something called Time Worn Type. It's one of the 3D embossing folders, and I love it. It could actually be, I'm not sure if it's actually in the annual catalog right now or not. I have not gone through and pulled retiring stuff as diligently as I should have during this pandemic. I've been a little lax. So I am going to have to print a couple of lists and really comb my shelves pretty intensely this spring. Anyway, let's go through this, and I'll show you this way of doing it, and then I'm going to show you another way. All right, so I've got a little piece of our basic white, and I have a scrap paper so I don't make too much of a distracting mess on my placemat. And we're going to start with the water. Okay, so the water uses, I'm going to use Balmy Blue, and the water uses this stamp right here, okay, out of Oceanfront. So this one that's straight, we've got the horizon here, and then the shore, the water along the shore is at an angle, which means you can then do an angle on what is the beach, okay, and then this becomes the sky. All right, so here's our water. So we're going to get our horizon, and actually I'm going to do this on the water and this. No, I'm going to just save that for the sky. Hang on. All right, so I don't want too much ground, so let's go right about there. Give it some nice even pressure. And there we go. Oops, there's a little something fuzzy or something on my, made a little mark. That's okay. All right, so let's get the one that is the sky. So this is our sky, all right? And what I'm going to do is wash this first, and I'll tell you why, or I'll show you why, because I'm using a little bit of Pacific Point, and there was a little bit left over, and I didn't want it in my Balmy Blue pad. So let's ink that up with Balmy Blue. But if you ink Balmy Blue right next to Balmy Blue, you're not going to get much differentiation. And you notice I did have along that horizon line where it's a little bit darker often, okay, where the water and the sky meet, it often appears a little bit darker like a line. So I wanted to try and get that. So what I did was I took my darker Pacific Point, and I took a sponge dauber, okay, and I went right along the edge and really pretty firmly. I really kind of wanted to darken up that edge a little bit, okay, and then once I got most of that off, then I kind of went around the edge a little bit and a little in the middle, just to give it a little something, a little bit different, okay, so it won't look exactly like our water. Then we're going to kind of line those two up. Oh, and you're probably going to see maybe some of my sparkles. I'm going to try not to whack the camera. All right, so I think we're pretty good right there. And if we're not, oh well. Give it. All right. Let's see. Yeah, we got our line a little bit. All right, then, since there's not a whole lot of ink left in this, and we have those, the variegated spots here, just going to take that little bit of Pacific Point and just kind of go over those spots just a little bit so that they're not so stark white. Okay, there. Lovely. That is a beach I would like to be on. Oh, I'm going to be on the beach in a couple of weeks. I'm really excited. Rich and I are going to North Carolina. Carolina Beach, North Carolina. And for our anniversary. And we're going with some good friends of ours, which will be really fun. Steven's going to stay with the kitties. Life's going to be grand. Okay, so let's start with some crumb cake. Let's get our sand in here. All right. And I almost used Sahara sand for the sand, but then I wanted something a little warmer. And when I found this piece of crumb cake already embossed in my scrap drawer, I said, ooh, we're going to change that up and use crumb cake because I've got that other piece perfectly ready here. How did I do this? Okay, so I did go this way, like that. And then I did another one, and I could just really gently stamp that off so it's not too dark. And we can have some other sand over here. Okay. Now we have these cute little pebbly things. Those are an ocean front. See this little texture? Yeah, we want to get some texture on that sand, even more than is what's there now. So I'm going to stamp, and then where it's really white, I'm just going to stamp off so that I fill in that white just a little. I don't want dark, but I don't want it to be stark white either. I'm going to do that over here too. I'm just going to take those up just a little bit and fill that space. Okay, and we'll turn that. We need some more. We might need some more over here. That's better. And let's turn this one more time. Let's go this way. Like that. Okay, there. So that just gave that a little, just disguised that hard edge a little bit. Okay. All right, so we have sky, we have water, we have sand. I'm liking this beach more and more every minute. I could be there any second. The beach is my happy place. I'm not sure how many of you feel that way, but man, I could just, if I could live at the beach, I sure would be happy. Any water. It's probably because I'm a Pisces, but you know. All right, so let's get some of these nice tall reeds in there. So I'm going to do one nice dark one, and then I'm going to just that really light stamped off version. Then we're going to do the lower grass, and we're going to bring this down here a little bit. Again, to kind of fill up this white, and then we're just going to, oops, hold on. Hang on. I'm going to have to stamp that off over here, really light, because I had a spot that I wasn't sure what it would do. Okay. There. So now we have, I can probably even get one more, just like that, just a little bit to fill in that edge. All right. Now I have a little scrap. I'm not going to make you watch me cut the whole thing. Well, maybe I will. We're going to use a little basic gray, and I wonder where my other scrap is. So I did a couple of things before. This was nice, firm, first generation basic gray. I felt like it was a little too dark. So I said, well, I'll just stamp it off. But because I had pressed so hard, I didn't get much of a second generation, and that was too light. So I figured out what I did on this one. Show you. Sometimes you just have to experiment a little, and that's okay. Hey, rocks, where'd you go? There you are. All right, so we're going to do a little basic gray there. And before I go here, I'm going to just really lightly, you know what, I'll even do it on here. Just touch and go. I didn't even get a smooth stamp, and that doesn't matter. I just didn't want all of it to be super strong. Okay, so now those rocks make me happier. Okay, so a little bit less ink, so just touch and go, especially with photopolymer stamps. Red rubber you can stamp off a little firmer, but all right, let's give them a little bit of Wink of Stella because we like those fancy rocks that are sparkly, right, Barbara? We want them sparkly because there's no sense picking up rocks. Well, these are probably too big to pick up when, you know, for proportion sake. But if you're walking along the beach and you find a pretty sparkly rock and you want to pick it up, that's the kind you want. You don't want the boring kind. All right. Oh, you know what? I almost forgot. Well, I've got the Wink of Stella out. And you know, this is really the best little $9 tool. You really need one of these. Or 2 or 3, really, because when you use them up, you want another one, and you don't want to be waiting for an order to come in. Okay, so you want that water to be sparkly. I'm going to give it just a little tiny push over here. It's not, I don't want it to blop on my, card. I have had that happen, and it's really sad, because as much as I like Wink of Stella, I do not like a big blob of it in the middle of my, there we go, in the middle of my project. All right, so let me grab my snips. All right, and I'm going to remind you again, fussy cutting is not, I think I need that. I'm going to just leave it. I was going to close it, but I think we need it. Fussy cutting is not that hard, honestly. It does take practice, but the thing that you need to remember is this hand, your second best hand, that's what the PE teacher at Simon's used to call it. So your dominant hand is going to do the cutting, obviously, but this other hand has a really important job to do, and that is to move the paper. You don't move the scissors, because otherwise you end up all twisted around, and it's really hard to cut that way, and it's uncomfortable, and no wonder people don't like to cut that way. So what you want to do is you want to cut right along, but you notice that what's moving is the paper, not really the scissors. The scissors are closing, certainly, and I sometimes scoot them up a little bit, but they're not really, like when I go around this corner, what's moving is the paper, not the scissors, okay? So just keep that in mind. I know, I think I say it every time I do a video and cut, but it's really important. And you will be a much happier person fussy cutting if you remember to make that other hand do its job. Okay? I know I sort of slipped into my, like I was teaching first graders. Sorry about that. I did, when I was doing my stamp club, I did have a kiddo say, Mrs. Percival, you have a lot of scissors. Because I had my sticky scissors, and I had my ribbon scissors, and I had my paper scissors, and whatever. Anyway, I said, yes, I do, and no scissors are allowed to do anybody else's job. That's part of the deal. All right, so this is looking good, but I want to differentiate the sky even more. So let's give the sky some birds. Okay, we got some seagulls going around. And I think this can be either way, honestly, but for some reason it just felt a little more right side up going this way. I don't know. I don't know if that's really true, but I did know that it felt good that way, so I did that. All right, oops, we still got to do the greeting. All right, so wishing you so much happiness. Because really, who isn't happy at the beach, right? So, we've got that there. All right, I think that's all of that. So, now we have this beautiful scene that we can put together. So, let's grab this. Let's put a couple of dimensionals on the back of these rocks. One here, one there. Okay. And we'll kind of cover up this part right here. Like that. Okay. Then we'll add a little adhesive. Pull and turn my wrist. Pull and turn my wrist. Zoop. One in the middle. Okay. So now we have this really fun texture, and you can't really tell that it's words. It's just bumpy, and it's just good. I mean, there are some words, but by the time you get this on here, you can't really tell they're words. It's just nice texture. back there, which reminds me of the beach and the sand. Okay. And a little here, and we'll just do that. I'm getting much better with that seal. It's taken some practice, but I am definitely much better at it now. And I was using a lot more than I used to use with the snail, but I've gotten better. There you go. Isn't that fun? And of course you would decorate your envelope and all that. I didn't bring an envelope over here. All right, so let's set that one aside. And there's another way. So we have this great product called New Horizons Designer Series paper. It comes 6x6 like this. And look, all the hard watercolor is done. And you can make these beautiful scene cards with no trouble at all. And you can stamp right on the Designer Series paper. Let me show you a little bit more. These are beautiful. I've shared some videos of how the artists at Stampin' Up! Made these. Look at that. That looks like a, I don't know, galaxy or outer space or something. Isn't that pretty? Just so easy to make a background with these. Okay, so I chose a couple of different pieces. Oh, you know what? I'm not actually going to do the stamping on this one, I don't think, because I don't want to have to go get another piece and trim it. So this one, I wasn't sure how the trees would look. We can try it. You know what? I just said I wasn't going to stamp, and I lied. So the first way of making a scene like this, okay, creating a landscape, does require at least a few ink pads. Okay, so that could be considered a little bit of a downside if you don't have a lot of colors at your disposal. Okay, but the upside is it's gorgeous when it's done. So just invest in the ink pads, I guess is what I'm saying. Anyway, when you use Designer Series paper, all you really need is Memento Black, okay? Because everything else is more or less a silhouette. You don't really need a whole lot of colors, okay? So let's just ink up. I had to really give these guys a little what for, because my first kind of set of trees didn't come out all that well. I was a little disappointed. Look at those. They did not stamp all that well. And because this is not photopolymer, I couldn't go back and line those up. So it's okay. I was fine with that. All right, so we're going to try and line that tree line, that ground, right along the bottom there. It doesn't have to be perfect, but, you know, that's what I'm eyeballing. And then we're just going to give it some nice firm pressure for a second and see if we get some nice trees. There you go. So they're blending into those hills in the background, and that's fine. That looks actually pretty good. Now I could add some more trees over here if I wanted to. Where's my scrap paper? There it is. I don't want to muck this up too much. All right, so but I just want a little bit of trees over here. So let's do that. And so we've just got a little tree. It went off a little bit. It's okay. So we've got some trees back there. So we've added very little, okay? We've added our birds. We've added our trees. And really the rest is good. It's just fine, just the way it is. So now I have my piece of Night of Navy, and look how gorgeous that is. With that nice dark matte, and so I like that one. Now, but that's not the one I'm going to make into a card. I'm going to have a whole lot of cards coming along here, I guess. But I already added the greeting, and I already added my inside. So what we're going to do is just take this and add it on dimensionals. So take those off. Okay. Now, one thing that you may have seen around, oops, let's just make sure we've got, yep, that looks good, is that the March paper pumpkin kit, the one that we'll be getting ready to ship in just a couple of days, is going to build on this beautiful suite, bundle, suite, I think it's a whole suite. The New Horizons paper, the On the Horizon stamp set, and all of that good stuff. Okay, so if you are not yet subscribed to Paper Pumpkin, you totally want to get this one. All right, it's called Beyond the Horizon, and it's going to be great. And it's also going to have 2 stamp sets, not just 1, 2. Because March is the Paper Pumpkin anniversary or birthday or whatever you want to call it, they give us the gift. Woohoo! And so we get an extra stamp set this time. Different years we've gotten different things. Sometimes last year I think we got stencils. One year we got a little sampler of colored pencils. It just depends, but the March kit always has a little extra freebie in it for us. So you'll definitely want to make sure you're subscribed for that. And if you're not subscribed for that, get in touch with me and I'll help you. And if you are subscribed for that, you might want to get an extra one. I'm just saying, because I'm not sure if there's going to be refills or not. So you might want to just get it to start. Okay. All right. So that's one thing I wanted to tell you about. The last thing I wanted to tell you about, though, is another special that is going on right now. Don't run away because this is important. Okay. So right now, you may have seen this around too. Our little cute, wonderful mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine is on sale for $48. Okay, that's a pretty big savings. So what you want to do is, and then there's a whole bunch of bundles. We're going to use this all squared away bundle for one of the cards in my class on Wednesday. But there's a whole lot of bundles, and some they've kind of put back together as a bundle just for this sale. Okay. So there's quite a few, and all of these dies will fit through the mini. And you say, well, how do I know? What if I don't want one of those bundles? What if I want a different one? Now, all of these bundles are marked 20% off. Like, they're 20% off the bundle price, which already saves you 10%. So it's really like you're saving 30%. I'm just saying. All right, so the way that you tell if the dies in a particular set will fit is you look for this little icon, okay, right there. Looks like our little mini machine, and it says mini. So let's head back to our bundles, and you'll start to see mini, 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 mini. So these will all, the dies will all fit. Now some of these are too wide. This, oh, mini. Oh, see, this one is too big. Oh, that's a punch bundle. Never mind. Don't ignore the person on the other side of the camera. Okay, so the dahlias. So this big die wouldn't fit, so it doesn't get the mini symbol. But all these little dies, even though some of them are very long as you go the long way, they will all fit in the mini. So that's a lot of dies that fit through our mini machine. Okay, not all the embossing folders fit. You have to get the narrower ones. But look, all the dies for the Horizon dies fit in the mini. Okay, all the ones for the Paradise Palms fit in the mini. All right, so a lot of different dies, and sometimes you just like the shapes for the labels. Yep, those will all fit through the mini too. So if you've been on the fence about getting a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, this is perfect. Okay, it's easy, it's lightweight, you can take it with you anywhere. So if you don't have one, this is a great starter. And if you do have one and you go to crops or other kinds of places where you might want to take something with you, this is a great take along because it fits in your bag really nicely, okay? So, through the end of March, okay? All right, so that's the end of the sales pitch. Sorry about that. Let's look at our cards again. So, a couple ways to create that landscape. You can use the designer series paper or you can use stamps and ink. Your choice. Hey, where did Marlene's card go? Oh, there it is. So I didn't make this one tonight, but another option here. Let's put that out there. Okay. Lots of really beautiful ways to create a fun landscape for you. All right. All right. Well, thanks, guys. I am really glad you were here. Super fun to stamp with you tonight. And I will look forward to stamping with you again next Monday. And I will have some other samples to show you because Sunday is my team meeting. So my team is getting together Sunday the 13th, and I will have some great samples to share with you. All right. Thanks so much. I'm going to go home and put on some, I don't know, something warm because my toes, I think, can finally have some socks without mucking up my pretty toes. So I will talk to you soon. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.